Hello and a really big warm welcome to this presentation from the Urban Penguin. My name is Andrew Mallett, and in today's video we're going to go through and take a look at using variables within Bash and in the Bash scripts that we're going to create. Now I know you're going to feel you know all about variables and all that there is to know about variables, and that's fantastic. But did you know about the variables that can automatically convert content to lowercase, or variables that will automatically convert content to uppercase? When we're testing user input, these variables can be really useful to us. So this is what we're going to spend our time on in this video. And remember, if you enjoy my videos, then please like them. This is you helping your community, because you're going to be able to help other people find my videos so they gain the same benefits as you are gaining. Come on, let's find the command line. So yes, we're going to dive out to our command line and look at how we can control the case of variables within our Bash shell. So look at this. Welcome to our glorious command line. And as I say, I am sure you are probably well aware of working with your variables. So you might go through and create a variable, a local variable, setting fruit to equal a mixed case apple. And then when we look at the contents of our variable, echo $fruit, we can see then that it's maintained our value, including the case. Now, the only difficulty in here is using mixed case or unknown case in our variables. It's going to make it very difficult to compare values of user input to what we need within our scripts. Also, as a local variable, it's only available to the shell and not to any commands run from the shell. So this is where export comes in. So we can export our variable. We can export it and create it in one go, or we can export it separately like this. Now, we can always go through and actually check that it is exported by using the env command. We can go through and send the output of env to grep and search for fruit, and we're going to be able to see, yes, we have truly set this up as an environment variable, so it's available to both the shell and all commands launched from that shell. So this is good. But the thing is, we're starting to use different commands, and maybe we can do this by using one command. So what we're going to do now is just clear our variable, and we can delete the variable so it no longer exists by using unset. If we unset a variable, we are deleting it, both the variable name and any of its content. So our variable is gone, and we are good to go, fresh and revived. So let's look at a slightly different way of setting up our environment variable. I can use declare. We can use -x to set it up as an environment variable. So -x. And then we can set the variable name. And then we can go through and specify that we want it to have our value of, let's say, apple. Now here we've just used one command. We could do the same thing just with our export command. But now we can actually just print our variable. Rather than using the env command and searching for it with grep, we can just go declare -p and fruit. Again, it shows a -x, which is indicating that it's an environment or an exported variable. But we are not limited just to -x. We can still keep it as an exported variable, but include the -l for lowercase. This then is going to convert all content to lowercase. So even though we still use the mixed case apple, the resulting value is importantly lowercase. Now we could use -l, or we could use -u. L for lowercase, U for uppercase. There's also, as I said before, -r for read-only if we wanted a read-only variable. So this then becomes a good way of managing it. As we go through then and start putting our fruit even now to something different, because we've already declared our fruit variable to be lowercase, When we set it to a very mixed case pair, we get then at least pair coming back in lowercase. And this is what we can then look at for working within our scripts, where we need to compare user input to known values. So if we use our text editor, whichever you like to use, it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to create a script with a really good name, My Script. It's a good name, isn't it? We can go through and put our shebang line, so we can put the path through to our script interpreter. We don't have to, but it's always a good idea, both documenting as well as forcing our interpreter. Then we can get into the body of our script, where we can go through and declare -L for lowercase. We don't really need this to be an environment variable, and we're going to use the variable reply, and we're going to set it to an empty string to begin with. The reply variable is the default variable that is used by the built-in command read. Read can gather our user input, so we can go read. We can specify the prompt, so -lowercase p, put some kind of prompt, so enter a yes or no. We can put maybe a colon to indicate this is a prompt, but always follow it with a space, so it's easy to delimit what the user has typed from what they're seeing on the screen. Otherwise, it's going to be confusing for our user. Now, if I don't put in a variable name, it's going to use the variable uppercase reply. We've already declared that, so we know it's always going to have lowercase values. And we can test its input now. So with our if statement, we've got the test in the form of our square brackets. $reply equals yes. So we're looking for a literal string of a lowercase y, e, and s. Close our string, close off our square brackets, making sure we've got spaces between the entries, semicolon, and then, and we're into what lump of code should we run if this is true? Well, let's echo out. You said, well, yes. We don't have to have a complex script, do we? We can run our else statement. In our else statement, well, we could echo out something like you said no, but I suppose technically we haven't necessarily said no. We haven't said, or you didn't say yes, because anything other than yes is going to be picked up by our else statement. Let's close off our if statement, so that's fee. And that's our script. Nice and simple, but we want to test the use of the declare to set our lowercase variables, and seeing if we can even use it with our system variable, $reply. So let's make sure we save our changes. I can clear my screen with Control and L, and we just need to make sure that our script is executable. So we can go through then and put, let's say, our u plus x 4, then we use escape and dot to bring up our last argument. Now our script is executable. We can run it from our current directory, so /my script. We can enter yes or no. Let's put uppercase yes. It comes back then that we said yes, but we know we were comparing to lowercase. Well, let's go through and run it again, and let's put yes. Oh, I've done it wrong there, haven't I? But it doesn't matter. It'll be just ignored, but let's put then our mixed case yes. That's still evaluated true. Let's then go through and then put something else. So we can go through and maybe put no, and we can say yes. Look at this. We didn't say yes. So all we're looking at within our script, we're looking at converting user input through our variable to lowercase, rather than using something like tr, our translate command, to do it. Just saving real estate in our script and a little tiny amount of processing power. But hopefully you found this useful.
All that is left to say is thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this, then you are probably sadder than I first thought. For more of this drivel, please subscribe, like and comment to @TheUrbanPenguin.